This is an instructional strategies video about Jeopardy for PIDP3250 provided by Samaganane. Jeopardy is an interactive teams game that is used as a tool to motivate students' participation, engagement, and active learning. It's accessed through downloadable templates available for free online and licensed under Creative Commons. As you can see, I obtained my template from powerpointgames.wikispaces.com, and I've customized it for my anatomy and physiology class. Once the template has been downloaded, there is no need for an internet connection, and the instructor can take it, download it onto their USB, and use it anywhere a computer is available. The rules of Jeopardy must be clearly outlined and explained before the game begins. However, it's worth noting that the rules are flexible and customizable to the needs of the learners and the instructor. As you can see, I have customized it so that the questions are answered individually by each contestant from varying teams. However, they can consult their team members for yes or no answers. Again, customizable to the need of the instructor. In the rules, I've clearly outlined the amount of time allotted for choosing the question, thinking about it, and providing an answer. The game has different categories with different point values for each question. As you can see, I have 5 different categories with 5 different questions ranging from 10 points to 50 points. The lower the point value, the easier the question. Questions for lower point values usually involve simply recalling knowledge. If I were to click on a 10-point question, you will see that it has identify. Very simple recall of knowledge in the question. In this case, the answer is the pleural cavity. If we go back, you can see that when I click on the icon, the font changes, meaning that no team can now choose it again once they've chosen it once. If I click on the 50-point value, you will see that it has terms like conclude, where the student has to think and go up the hierarchy of learning to synthesis and evaluation. Where they have to think about many different facts and concepts and relate them to come up with the answer of the fact that it is the pH of the blood being basic. For the questions that are used in Jeopardy, you can cover a variety of different styles, from short answers to image identification questions to scenarios and problem solving. I am showing you an image identification question where the student must identify the image provided as the alveoli in this case. So let's move on to talk in more details about what Jeopardy really is all about in terms of, for example, in what context it is best displayed. So Jeopardy is best used in the classroom setting as a pre-assessment tool as well as a post-assessment and review tool. So it's a great pre-assessment tool for the instructor to gauge their students' knowledge about a new topic that they are about to present, or to review material from previous lessons. It is great as a post-assessment tool at the end of lessons, as well as a cumulative review before major midterms and finals. The limitation of Jeopardy is that it is harder to use for conceptual subjects where more than one answer applies. Harder for the instructor to judge whether it is correct or incorrect. Different students have different learning styles. A competitive style of learning is not for everyone. Some students may feel overwhelmed or scared to participate in a competitive, aggressive learning style like this one. It offers limited time to process information, and we must keep in mind that different students process information at different levels and at different strengths. Classroom may not be equipped with a projector or a computer, meaning that you cannot display your game. Some instructors are not familiar with PowerPoint presentation, which is going to pose a challenge for them to try to make this template. It is time-consuming for instructors to make. You have to come up with various different types of questions and answers and insert them onto a PowerPoint presentation. What are the advantages of Jeopardy? It allows for an interactive and fun environment for students to learn. They actually learn without feeling that they are learning, and they are actively involved in the learning. It is created by the instructor, so as I mentioned before, it is completely customizable to the need of the learner and the instructor. Students get a chance to test their knowledge and figure out which areas they are weak in, which allows them to go and work on these areas and become stronger. It's an effective assessment tool for the instructor to gauge their students' understanding and knowledge level. It encourages team player skills because it is a team game after all, and they are working together to achieve a common goal. Competition serves as a motivator for some students. It pushes them to do better. And finally, it exposes students to new methods of using technology as a learning tool. For students who are not used to technology, this is a great introduction. And for students who are the cyber generation who love using technology as a learning tool, this would also be a great thing to use. Some best practices for Jeopardy. It's a review tool for individual lessons as well as a cumulative review. I prefer using it as a cumulative review in my lectures because it allows them to connect more than one system together and go up to higher levels of thinking. What are the roles of the educator? The educator is the facilitator, the host of the game, the time monitor, as well as the judge of the game. They facilitate the learning of their students. They host the game, present the questions, the rules, time the questions, as well as judge if the question is correct or incorrect, and announce a winner. The roles of the learner is an active learner involved in their learning. They are self-directed learners. They are team players working together to achieve a common goal. And they are also leaders, taking onus on their own learning and guiding other students in their team to success. Some ethical issues with Jeopardy. Learning disability is an ethical issue because it poses an ethical issue with how you are going to deal with the student. Are you going to make the questions a lot easier? But that is now going to put your other students at a disadvantage who are capable of answering these levels of questions. So to deal with this issue, the instructor can make a mix of questions in their Jeopardy game, ranging from hard to easy questions. They can also make the teams a heterogeneous mix of stronger student teams as well as weaker, and make sure to include the student with a learning disability in it. And have the game played in a way that it is discussed, but only one student offers the answer. Being a fair judge is also an ethical issue. Being fair is a very important part of playing Jeopardy. However, it is not an easy one. We can deal with that by being well versed in the subject that we are presenting, by using or choosing questions that have definitive answers rather than open-ended ones with multiple correct answers. Judging time fairly is also an ethical issue, and we must use timers to make sure that we are judging time and allotting time equally for both teams. Some cultural issues with Jeopardy are that some students have language barriers, like having English as a second language. We can avoid this problem by using easy language that is easy and clear for students to comprehend. Some cultures are not familiar with Jeopardy. They were not exposed to the game show. To deal with this situation, we have to have a mix of different types of students in each team, ones that love Jeopardy and ones that are not familiar with it. And of course, we must clearly outline the rules before beginning the game. And finally, some cultures are not involved in competition in order to learn. And to avoid this issue, we must reiterate to our students that this is a fun, engaging tool just used to gauge your understanding and give you an idea of what areas you need to work on. And it is a friendly game. Some gender issues. In certain cultures, women aren't used to competing and speaking freely in front of men because men are considered superior. This prevents female students from showing their true level of knowledge. So to deal with this issue, we must have a mix of genders in each team and have each team individually participate to give women equal opportunity as men in participating and answering the questions in the game. So this way we are promoting equality between genders, and we are giving equal opportunity for participating in both genders, despite gender or individual learning capacities.